Another day, another ride. Well, it's time to leave the campsite again, but first add a new sticker to Trixie. Bosnia-Herzegovina. About here, I think. Well, ready. Hello dear viewer. I first had a campsite near the center of Jajce in mind to pitch my tent. However, there were no trees on that campsite, so there was no shade at all, which I personally don't like. That's why I drove on to Atacama Zero, and there were plenty of trees there. The restaurant on the campsite is closed and the sanitary facilities are outdated and rickety, but they are kept clean and that's the most important thing for me. One of the receptionists worked as a hostess in tourism until the corona pandemic and knew a lot about the place and the sites. Also because she has lived in Jajce all her life. Jajce means small egg, because the castle was built after the example of Castel dell'Ovo in Naples, Italy. I have planned a route to Srebrenica, the place where the Dutch battalion was stationed during the war in Bosnia. From Jajce it is more than 320 kilometers to ride, but I do not know yet whether I will be able to do that in one day. If I come across a campsite somewhere halfway, that could be a welcome option. After the previous ride I have adjusted the options in Kurviker again, so that I now avoid everything except main roads and with the fastest route. The change settings have had an effect, but also have disadvantages. The first part was still on roads in a beautiful environment. I only got behind a few trucks that could not drive fast, but that I could not pass because of the blind bends in the road. You also have more oncoming traffic. The result was that I inhaled quite a lot of exhaust fumes. Then there was a considerable part through larger towns with a lot of industrial estates that you rode past and that did not offer the most beautiful views. I also rode a long way next to the highway. Both parts were not really beautiful, to say the least. But after a while you come to an area where the roads become more quiet and the surroundings more beautiful, so that you enjoy riding. The tunnel I went through looked like a cave, although that is not so clear in the video. But then suddenly there are roadworks and you still have to slip and slide for a few kilometers on gravel. And you wonder why you have to go through that and why it always goes down, because I find it more difficult than going up. The last part was on winding mountain roads, so that in the end, because I did not come across a campsite or a decent hotel along the way, I only arrived in Srebrenica after 6 o'clock. It was a long day.